Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Jason, I'm your watch guy today. I'm a little bit of a fan of combat sports. MMA, boxing, anything where someone gets hit. And in combat sports, we have a term. That's pound for pound best. Now if we take that across to the watch world, today I believe I have in pound for pound the best microbrand watch that is available to the market. Well, that was available to the market. This sold out pretty quickly. I'm of course talking about the Zelos Blacktip Timekeepers edition. Now you saw me unbox this on the channel. It's been sent in by a subscriber by the name of Jason. He's an absolutely brilliant guy. He's already loaned me another one of his Zeloses and he sent this one in brand new for me to unbox and wrap on the channel for you guys to see. And he's also given me plenty of time to get a feel for this and review it for you too. Now, I genuinely believe if you were to pick this up from a brand like Hamilton or Seiko or any of the standard watch brands on the market today, I believe it'd cost you well in excess of £1,000. But this one came in at $499. For what this watch offers in build quality and materials, it's just absolutely fantastic. So let me turn this camera around and let's get in to this review. Now this is the absolute beauty that I'm talking about. This is the Zelos Blacktip, but this is the Timekeepers edition. These were offered to members of the Zelos Timekeepers group on Facebook. Elshan released a code or a link to the page for these with a password. And if you were quick enough and lucky enough, you could pick one up for the exact same price as the other ones offered, which was $499. This is a limited run of 150 watches and they will not be released again. So Jason was really lucky to pick one of these up. And I was even luckier to have him as a subscriber and for him to lend this to me. I'm so grateful. He wouldn't even realise, like. Now, as I said, $499, but what do you get for that? Well, this is packed with a Miyota 9015 movement, which is a high beat 9000 series Miyota movement, 28,800 beats per hour, and it comes in at -10 to +30 seconds per day in terms of reliability. So this watch is built in full 316L stainless steel, but what are the dimensions? It's a very wearable 41.5 millimeters in diameter. However, that does shrink down a little bit in wearability because this bezel does overhang quite a bit, so it comes down to about 41 millimeters. It is 12.8 millimeters thick, which is very, very wearable, and it's on the lower end of what you would expect on a dive watch or a dive style watch. Lug to lug, it is 47.5 millimeters. Again, very wearable, very compact lug-to-lug case. The lugs themselves are 20 millimeters, so you can swap this up into a band or a NATO or whatever you want. But I think this bracelet is absolutely fantastic, the one that's supplied with it. Now, let's move into the casing itself. So you can see that it's a very nice brushed finish on the outer casing. It's a very high quality too. I would say that it's one of the better watches that I've seen, and it probably compares to a lot of my Swiss watches, you know, the Hamiltons and the Satinas and stuff like that of the world. I feel like it's definitely in their ballpark. We have a really lovely effect on this chamfered polished edge here too, so a nice mixture of brushed and polished finishes, and a circular brushing on the upper lugs with a horizontal brushing on the case. Now, it's a very thin case profile. Obviously, it's bulked up quite a bit with the bezel and case back, but the case itself is actually a really nice thin profile, very wearable profile. As you can also see, we do have some drilled lugs here, so it's very easy to change in and out of different bands, different bracelets. Moving over to this side of the casing, we have a screw down exposed crown here, no crown guards on this one. Just unscrew this. It's a coin edge, very easy to use. This will also show this is a hacking and hand winding movement. Just screw this back in. Now, a real party feature of these Zelos watches is the crown. And it's not because they are in any way spectacular or any way innovative. It is a crown. It does what you expect a crown to do. But we have a signed crown that is filled with lume. So that will also glow up with the rest of the lume on the dial. Let me just try and show you that in a shot. As you can see there, it is a lumed signed crown, which is really nice to see. Very nice effect. Crown is also very easy to grip, which is nice. They've obviously thought of design also. It's a nice clean edge. We move to the back of the case now, and we have a screw down case back. We have these nice little notches for opening it up. Nice little circular cuts into the case back itself. Zelos Timekeepers edition, forged carbon, 128 out of 150. We have this Zelos Shark. Actually, it's done better on this one than it was on the Mako, so that's nice to see, because that was one of my downsides on the Mako, if I remember rightly. Now we move to this bezel, and this bezel is absolutely fantastic. I'm going to tell you that much. I'm so impressed with it. The action on it is just fantastic. There's no bounce. The click sounds so smooth and so clear. It's a very tool-like click, and the only watches that I have in my collection that I can compare this bezel action to are Swiss-made watches. My Hamilton Navy Scuba and my tags, I feel like this is definitely in their ballpark. This is definitely playing with that type of standard. The bezel insert on this one is forged carbon fibre, and I don't think I've ever seen that on another watch. So it's obviously a very exotic material. You can see the carbon effect around this. It's absolutely gorgeous the way that it plays through this bezel. As you can see, the numbers on the bezel are not filled. They are just etched into existence. You can see the numerals are etched into the bezel along with these batons for the minute markers. And up at the 12 o'clock here, we have a really nice diamond shaped lume pip. Again, a nice little change from Zelos, obviously sticking to an original type of design. Now, I'll just show you the clean edge on the side of this bezel. The bezel itself overhangs the case, whereas the bottom half of the bezel actually tapers in to align with the case. Very nice effect, and it makes it more wearable on this, because obviously the casing doesn't have to be the same size as this bezel, but this bezel is very easy to maneuver, very easy to grip. As well as that, it just has a really nice effect to the actual design of the casing. Now this is a sapphire crystal, but it is also a slightly domed sapphire crystal, just catch that there. Again, a nice piece of quality from Zelos. That's something that I would definitely expect from them. Obviously they use the best materials that they possibly can for the price, and sapphire would be that material. Now altogether, this casing provides the watch with 200 meters of water resistance, which I think is suitable for a dive watch, or at least a dive style watch. I don't know if anyone's going to be taking these diving. To be fair though, I'm sure there's one in the 150 that's going in the water at the very least. Now as we move into the dial itself, you can also see that this is a forged carbon fibre dial. It has this lovely, lovely effect throughout. The waves of the carbon fibre really catch the light very well, and it plays with the light really well also. We have applied indices throughout this dial. Now they are large in stature, very thick baton indices. And then at the 12, 3 and 9, we have a distinct indice that is split into a geometrical style shape. That's again a very nice touch from Zelos. Obviously that's their own originality flowing through the design there. Another nice touch is that they have included a printed white minute track. That's very useful for timing, very useful for setting the time, and I much prefer a watch with a printed minute track. There's a lot of watches that go with the forged carbon dials, or go with an exotic dial and do not print the minute track because they think it takes away from it. But in my opinion, it adds to the design and the watch itself. Now down at the 6 o'clock we have this framed date window. It is a colour matched date wheel, which is really nice to see. I love the fact they put it at the 6 o'clock because it aligns the dial so well. Obviously we don't have perfect symmetry with these waves flowing through the dial, but it adds to the symmetry of the dial design, and I really do enjoy that. If you're going to make a design such a feature, I think the date window shouldn't take away from it. And I think the best position for a date window is down at the 6 o'clock, and that will aid in not taking away from that design. Up at the 12 o'clock, we have the Zelos logo. That is in a stainless steel polished style finish. And down above the date window at the 6, we have Blacktip 200 meters, which obviously identifies the water resistance rating on this watch. As we move on to the handset on this one, we have very broad style baton hands on these. I'll just move these hands so you can see them correctly. As you can see, the minute hand is very bold in stature. It is a simple baton style design on this one with a brushed stainless steel outer edge and a loomed finish in the center. As we look at this hour hand, it flows very well with the indices at the 12, 9 and 3. As you can see, it has the same sort of geometrical shape in the center. And again, that is a brushed finish. The second hand really does set this dial off for me. Sets this entire watch off, to be honest. That flash or splash of orange flowing through the center of the dial, or flowing through the sweep of that second hand, really does set this watch off for me. That little splash of colour really does something. Now I'm just going to insert the lume shot just here for you. And as you can see, these geometrical shapes really do start to play an even bigger feature in the watch. You can see that the lower sections of the geometrical indices and geometrical hour hand are loomed in a blue lume, while the rest of the indices are green. As well as that, the tip of the second hand is loomed in this blue also. It's a very good quality lume, long lasting, very bright. And again, that's something I expect from Zelos, which is crazy to say because obviously they've packed so much into this budget of $499. I just can't think of another manufacturer that does that. I can't think of another manufacturer that packs so much into their watches. So very impressed with this lume shot. One of my favourites is a Zelos lume shot, to be fair. Now as we move on from the head of this watch, we move to its bracelet. This bracelet is very nice in design. It's a H-link bracelet, and I've already said in the past they're some of my favourite bracelets because they're so comfortable on wrist. They conform to wrist very well. It's a full brushed finish on this one. A very light brushing, although it's not a heavy brushing. You can see the lineal brush more in the actual clasp than you do in the bracelet itself. These are screw links, so they're very secure. Now, one thing that I didn't expect from this is that it is quick release bars at the spring bars, so very easy to swap this bracelet in and out. I will come back to them a little bit later. Another nice little feature of this watch is this here. Well, I can't really call it a glide lock, but it's a gliding micro adjust. So you can adjust the micro adjustments on the fly. No need for any micro adjustment holes in the clasp itself. And it's very firm, very easy to use. You can use it to so many different points. And yeah, very impressed with that also. Obviously, it's much better for people who are wanting to throw this onto a wetsuit really quickly, or even for people on a hot day, a cold day, when the size of your wrist feels a little bit different or becomes a little bit different due to the weather. Very easy to adjust it to get a perfect fit. We have a milled clasp and double pushes either side of this clasp. It is fully brushed. It has the Zelos logo in the center and this lineal design through it. Very nice clasp on these. Very easy to fit in terms of those micro adjustments. Now let me pop this on wrist and show you how it looks on my 6.2 inch wrists. As you can see, very nice fit to wrist. Such an easy wear, such a comfortable watch. Yeah, I've really fallen for this. Really, really have. And I'm not the only one. Pretty much anyone that has seen this on my wrist has complimented it. Steve, my boss in work, who lent me the Seamaster, the Speedmaster, etc., etc., obviously has a very expensive taste in watches, has been nagging me for the last 2 weeks to try and buy one of these for him. Yeah, he was really impressed, absolutely loved the watch itself, and I can't blame him. I really can't. It's just a fantastic piece. Yeah, really did fall for this one. Now, this doesn't escape the moan section, nor does pretty much anything on this channel. So let me get into those moans for you really quickly. Now, firstly, I'm just going to have to adjust this date. Now, I've been arguing with myself for the time that this watch has been in, but to me, it seems like the date window is slightly off to the right-hand side here. I feel like the 3 is touching much closer to the frame here than it is to the one here. Now, I don't know if that's just me, and I think that'll be for Jason to decide when he gets the watch back. Now, it would be an absolute shame if this one had any sort of quality control issues, because I expect a high level from Zelos. However, every time I've seen a issue raised with any watch in the group, Elshan jumps onto it straight away and offers a fix. So I'm very confident in buying from them, because I know that even if something does go wrong, they're going to fix it for you. So yeah. As well as that, these quick releases on this bracelet are fantastic, brilliantly innovative, and a great idea. However, you can feel them when it's on wrist, which isn't always a nice feeling. Great design, great addition to the watch itself, great feature, but they may dig into your wrist at certain points. It's not a constant thing with it, but at certain times of the day I have felt them like poking into my wrist a little bit, so that is a slight downside for me. Aside from that, I think this is the best watch that was available for less than $500. I think this is just amazing. The quality of the materials used, quality of the brushing, the case design, the original design of the watch itself, the bezel action, the dome sapphire crystal, the comfortability on wrist, the features built into the clasp and the bracelet itself. I just think they've outdone themselves. I really do. Anyone who picked one of these up is a very lucky person in my mind, and I wish I would have been one of them. So guys, that's been my review of the Zelos Blacktip Timekeepers edition. I just can't put into words how brilliant this watch is, and I really do believe that you have to see it in person to get the full effect of how absolutely gorgeous it is. And again, it just does so much. There's not really anything that lets you down on. There's just not. And for $499, I just think it's an absolute bargain. And I'm gutted that I didn't get one. I really am. So tomorrow I will be posting this back to Jason. Once again, I just have to say a massive thank you to him, because otherwise there would have been no way that I would have been able to get this onto the channel. And I think I'm one of the very few reviewers on YouTube that's been able to review this specific piece or this specific edition. So again, Jason, thank you so much. You've been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He also sent me like an email before the last swordfish drop and sent me one of the day to make sure that I was getting one, which was again another great help, and I did get one in fact, so look forward to that video soon. Well, I say soon, probably a month's time I guess, when they get shipped out. By then the bronze swordfish will be available. If you guys want to get the drop on any of their releases, make sure you join the Zelos Timekeepers page on Facebook. Elshan always posts in there when he's releasing something new. Thank you for watching this, guys. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. I have plenty more content coming out soon, and I will see you in the next one.